今回はヒップについて話していきます。日本語にはいろんな外来語がありますよね。もともと違う国の言葉でも今は普通に日本語になっててとっても面白いと思います。例えばゲレンデ、ドイツ語、パン、ポルトガル語、アンケート、フランス語、英語で実は6割から7割が他の言語から来てると言われてます。その結果、すごくフレキシブルで表現力が豊かなんですね。ヒップと聞くと名曲思い出しますね。米米クラブの Shake Hip という曲なんですね。ちょうど私がね、日本に住み始めた頃、すごく流行ってました。日本人の友達とよくカラオケに行って、その頃はね、いろんな面白い英語がその曲に入ってて驚きました。例えば、Can you celebrate? とか、あとは Plastic Love ね。どういう意味なんでしょうね。Plastic Love とかね。英語としてはすごく不思議な感じがするけど、メロディーとかその曲としてはすごくキャッチーな曲が多かったので面白かったです。懐かしいね。So let's get busy with our analysis of the word hip. We're going to look at the problem, the reason, the solution, and some example sentences. Are you ready to shake hip? First, let's look at the problem. You have such a nice hip. You have such a nice hip. There are no two ways about it. This is such a weird thing to say if you're speaking in English, both from a linguistic and a cultural point of view. The word hip is commonly used in everyday life. It's not that it's a strange word or anything like that, but I've got a feeling that a lot of people in Japan have kind of got the wrong end of the stick about which part of the body it actually refers to. Gordon, my man, it's been a while. Hello there, Jimmy. Haven't seen you around. Margaret's been in and out of the hospital. Oh, nothing too serious, I hope. She's been having trouble with her hip. Her hip? That sounds quite rare. No, the doctors say it's quite common. A hip problem. She's actually getting a new hip. A new hip? How does that work? It's quite straightforward. They take off the old one and replace it with a new one. Oh my goodness! What's the new hip made from? It's mostly made from metal. Metal! She's gonna have a metal hip! Wow! What I wanted to show in that little skit was how people can misunderstand the basic meaning of the word hip and which part of the body it refers to. Let's look in more detail about the reasons why. Let's cut to the chase. In English, the hip refers to the area on both sides of the body where the thigh bone meets the pelvis. In Japanese, the hip is called kokansetsu. It includes bones, muscles, and joints. It's not just a single bone, it's actually a joint and a region of the body. So that means if you say that someone has a nice hip, that sounds like such a strange thing to say. Kokansetsu. Kawaii ne. Hometen no? Now, when we're talking about the standard way to measure a woman's body, especially in the fashion industry, the word hip is used. So just like in Japanese, you would say bust, waist, hip. Hip size is measured around the widest part of the hips, typically about 18 to 23 centimeters below the natural waistline. And the operation I was referring to before, a hip replacement, as I'm sure you know, is actually quite a common operation for older people. In Japanese, you would say, 人工股関節置換術. It's a surgical procedure where a damaged hip joint is replaced with an artificial one. So hopefully that sets the record straight about what a hip or hips means to a native English speaker. But what about oshiri and all that kind of stuff? Well, I've still got loads more to talk about back in the classroom. Let's go. Now in English, there are so many different ways to talk about your oshiri. I'm going to give you some examples, some formal, some cute, and some just a little bit slang. So how about if you go to the doctor? Well, they would probably use the word buttocks, which is the most formal. If you're referring to the actual muscles, then sports people would use the word glutes. In daily conversation, those words sound a bit formal and kind of stiff. So most people would probably say bottom. Now, there is a difference in the way people say it in the UK and in the US. In the UK, the top 3 standard words are bum, behind, and bottom. If we were to say it in a more slang way, we would have arse, backside, cheeks, cheeks. Some standard ways to say it in the US are butt, rear end, and bottom. And some slang US expressions are ass, booty, tush. Now, some cute or more childish expressions that you can use just for fun are bum bum, tushy, and botty. Now, one last warning, and this is pretty important. There is one word that causes a lot of problems, and that word is fanny. In American English, fanny is a very innocent word that just means your bottom. But in UK English, it means something completely different, much to the amusement of British people talking to Americans. I won't tell you the meaning as I'm too shy, but I'll tell you that I don't have one. So I remember the first time I heard the American expression fanny pack. I was very curious as to how people use them. My boss told me if I didn't get my butt in gear, I'd be out of a job this time next week. To get your butt in gear is a slang expression meaning to work harder, faster, or with a higher degree of motivation. I've really got to get my butt in gear and improve my Japanese.
Does my bum look big in this?
No, of course not. You look stunning as always. In fact, did you drop a few pounds? So this is the classic phrase that you see in the movies and the sitcoms and the dramas. Like, can you imagine the situation? The wife is getting ready to go out to a party and she comes to her husband and she says, "Does my bum look big in this?" And of course, the husband must always say, "No, of course not. You look beautiful." It's a classic. And also, the expression to drop a few pounds means to lose a little bit of weight. So it's a really nice compliment to tell someone, "Hey, did you drop a few pounds? You look kind of bummed out about something. What's on your mind?" If you're bummed out about something, then you're disappointed or perhaps just feeling a little bit down. The word bum is often used in a negative way like this. You think you're such a badass when it comes to working out, but you can barely do 10 squats. A badass is a really super cool expression. It's very slang, but you'll see it in the movies and stuff. For example, The Rock or Bruce Lee are famous badasses. It's a slang expression, so be careful how you use this one. If you're talking in English and you need to refer to your bottom, what do you usually say? I'm kind of interested to find out, so let me know down in the comments. So me coming from the UK, I usually say bum or bottom. Those are my two favorite ones. But, it sometimes comes up in conversation and it's pretty useful. He fell on his bum. She kicked me in the bum. That kind of thing. In Japanese, it's called kokanketsu. Kokanketsu, kokansetsu. もうケツばっかり考えてるね。